In 2026, being a good wife isn't enough to protect you from a toxic family. This is a story about a woman who was thrown out of her home like yesterday's trash, only to return 5 years later as the person holding her tormentors' lives in her hands. Because in this world, karma isn't just a concept, it's a calculated debt. A few weeks ago, I was sitting in a small, quiet cafe in downtown Chicago when I noticed a woman sitting across from me. She looked incredibly successful, expensive suit, sharp eyes, and an air of absolute authority. We struck up a conversation, and that's when she told me her name was Elena. But Elena wasn't always this powerful. 5 years ago, she was a completely different person. Here's the story she shared with me. Elena explained that she had spent the first 3 years of her marriage in what she called a golden cage. She lived in a beautiful, sprawling house, the kind you see in magazines, but she had absolutely no voice. From sunrise to sunset, she was expected to be an unpaid servant for her husband and his parents. Cooking, cleaning, hosting their parties, it was a full-time job with no pay and zero appreciation. She was surrounded by luxury but felt utterly worthless. The worst part was the constant gaslighting from her mother-in-law. If a dish was misplaced, it was Elena's fault. If the stock market dipped and her father-in-law lost money, somehow it was because of Elena's bad luck. Every single mistake in the house was pinned on her. This slow, steady drip of psychological manipulation eroded her self-worth until she truly believed she was lucky just to have a roof over her head, even if that roof felt more like a prison ceiling. She started to think she deserved the treatment she was getting. Then came the night that changed everything. She called it the midnight eviction. Her husband, a man she once loved, came into their bedroom late one night, not with a kiss or a kind word, but with divorce papers in his hand. His mother stood right behind him, a smug look on her face. He told Elena she was no longer welcome, that she was a disappointment to the family. Under his mother's watchful eye, he forced her out of the house with nothing but a single suitcase and the clothes on her back. The home she had tirelessly maintained for 3 years was no longer hers. But Elena didn't break down and cry for long. The shock and betrayal quickly turned into a cold, hard resolve. She moved into a tiny studio apartment on the other side of town. The anger she felt became her fuel. For 5 long years, she poured every ounce of her energy into building a tech startup from scratch. While her ex-family was living lavishly, spending what was left of her stolen dowry on luxury vacations and expensive cars, Elena was working 18-hour days, fueled by coffee and a burning desire to prove them wrong. She never contacted them, never looked back. She just built. Meanwhile, her former in-law's prideful and extravagant lifestyle was a ticking time bomb. They spent money they didn't have, made terrible business decisions, and refused to adapt to a changing market. Their arrogance was their downfall. While Elena's company was soaring, theirs came crashing down. Bad investments and mounting loans led them straight into massive debt and, eventually, a humiliating bankruptcy. They lost the house, the cars, everything, and that brings us to the final face-off. Just a few months ago, Elena walked into her pristine boardroom for a crucial investment meeting. Her company was looking to acquire the debt of a few smaller, failing businesses. And who was sitting across the table, waiting nervously to beg for a financial lifeline? None other than her ex-husband and her former mother-in-law. Their faces went pale as they saw her. They were there to plead for help from a powerful CEO, having no idea that the discarded girl they had thrown out into the street was now the very person who owned their primary debt. The power dynamic had flipped completely. In that moment, Elena wasn't the victim anymore. She was the one in control. Elena's story is a powerful reminder that your current circumstances don't define your future. It's about taking your pain and turning it into power. Thanks for watching, and if this story resonated with you, make sure to like and subscribe for more content just like this. See you in the next one.